What's happening, my friends? We're back inside the building. It's just gone 4 minutes past 9 here on Trickstar Radio. A massive shout out to the locked-in crew each and every time. We're jumping into the interview hour, and we're taking it international today. I'm so excited for this interview. It's one we've had in the calendar for a hot minute. We're going to be speaking today to someone whose musical styles get me every single time, someone who's just come off the back of a fantastic EP with DJ Tunez. Man like Jay Anthony's in the building. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm doing fine, man. I'm here.
Awesome, man. It's great. It's great to have you on the show this morning. Great to have you on the line. Obviously, this is one of the international ones we're doing. So just to let the listeners know, what time is it over there?
It is 4 a.m. in New York right now.
Wow, 4 a.m. Well, I appreciate the commitment to coming on the show, sir. Thank you for taking the time out and getting up nice and early to come and speak to us.
Most def. It's a pleasure.
So we've got loads of stuff to discuss. Obviously, with this show, we do get loads of different artists from different backgrounds coming on, and the whole point of this show is to kind of explore different sorts of styles of underground music from around the world. And the beautiful thing about your sound is it has such a generally uplifting vibe to it. Just as an opening question, is that something that you've always kind of striven for in the way you build music, to have that kind of energetic kind of approach?
Yeah. For the most part, yeah. I do have different sounds and different type of music that I like to venture in, but that's typically what I go for, yeah.
Nice, man. So just going back to the beginning of your kind of musical journey, because obviously the last year or so has looked absolutely crazy from your end. Let's kind of go back to the beginning. Like, what was the sort of thing that originally pushed you towards making music? You know, that original first influence?
Well, to be honest, the first influence was church. I grew up in church. I was raised in church. I was on the choir. You know, my mom had me in church like 4 days a week. So that was the drive initially, and then went on to junior high school, and I actually joined a singing group, and we traveled all around Jamaica, and we sung, and that's kind of where everything began.
Amazing, man. So to kind of that's a journey and a half then, to kind of come from what I'd call a more kind of traditional kind of singing background, moving into essentially a modern electronic music, and obviously modern sort of Afrobeats and dancehall flavors with what you're making now. Like, how did you find that transition at first as an artist, kind of dipping into this kind of global sound?
That's interesting. Well, I think when I left Jamaica and came here, I think my experiences and like my influences that kind of drove me to experimenting in different things, and I think this is where I came up with my sound, because I love R&B, I love dancehall, I love Afro, and then I just kind of pick out what works for me, and I kind of fused it all together, and I created my sound. That's pretty much how it
amazing, man. So it's almost like a mix and blend of obviously those New York influences with those original Jamaican influences.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Awesome, man. I mean, having listened through the EP, it's so kind of, I feel refreshing is a good way of putting it. All the general vibes of everything that's been put together are very kind of uplifting. It's a very kind of colourful, musically sounding EP. Obviously, it's with DJ Tunez. Talk to me how you two first linked up.
Well, one of my close friends from junior high school gave him two of my tracks back in 2018. And in 2020, during the whole pandemic, we finally linked up, and we started building a brotherhood, to be honest. And we decided to do a collab on the EP. So he's pretty much been bumping those two songs for 2 years before actually meeting me. It's been a journey, man. I'm grateful and appreciative for the whole experience. And working with Tunez, with him being from Africa, it gave me an opportunity to get in touch with my roots. Even though I'm Jamaican, Africa is where it started. So, but pretty much that's how the whole thing went down with DJ Tunez. That's how we met.
Amazing, man. I mean, obviously, the kind of process of building an EP, one of this kind of span, I feel, kind of sound-wise, and also one of this kind of level of quality during a global pandemic where things are locked down, travel isn't the easiest thing in the world. Like, how did you find that from an artist perspective as a process, kind of building that project with someone who, prior to this, you'd never met, and obviously of such kind of high acclaim?
Yeah, during the pandemic, like when it all happened, it kind of, it slowed everything down. It slowed everybody down. So I had to slow down myself, and kind of just sat there and I dug deep into finding something that could just come out of this, something great. And I sat there and I dibbled, I dabbled, I wrote, I had the time, you know what I'm saying, to put into it. It was a lot of time. And eventually I created a bunch of stuff. And I sat there and I said, well, okay, we're going through the world is going through so much right now. I feel like this is uplifting, this works. And so we picked out a handful of stuff that just kind of uplifted and just kind of made everybody feel good.
100%.
That's what we're going for. You know what I'm saying? Because in times like these, it was important to give that feel. And so that's kind of what made all this came together.
100%, man. And I think with that as well, I think the fact you've mentioned that sort of uplifting factor with the sort of sound you're making, obviously in correlation with the sort of trials and tribulations the world's currently going through, there's been such a kind of rise, I feel, in the last couple of years globally, especially here in the UK, of, I suppose, appreciation for kind of dancehall and Afrobeat sounds. Do you feel those two things are in general quite well aligned? Like the reason that we're enjoying this much more uplifting sort of sound is because of things like the pandemic that's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people, like I said, they finally got to slow down. Well, they had to. And now that you're slowed down and you really get to listen, and if you have an ear for music, you could appreciate, what I'm saying, the sounds, the drums, the kicks, like little things that you probably weren't paying attention to because you had so much going on. And, that's kind of what dancehall and Afro brings to you. It's the voice and the beat and the feel that it gives you. And I think the pandemic made a lot of people gravitated to that sound.
100%. No, I completely agree, man. And obviously with this EP, we've got 3 of the tracks loaded in for today's interview, which I'm so happy we've been able to do. We started off with Addicted. Again, nice. Fantastic tune, that one. Again, so uplifting, so vibrant in the way it's been put together. And again, super, super catchy as well. What we're going to do next is jump into a track that I've been loving since it's been sent over and just in general. This one goes by the name of Flossy Wine. So talk to me about this tune and how it came together.
Flossy Wine. Well, I'm from Canarsie. This is where I'm based, is in Brooklyn, Canarsie. So, Canarsie is nicknamed Flossy. So that's where the idea came from. It's kind of like the Canarsie wine. So, for the girls, so you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where that came from. It's an uplifting song, just to have the girls dancing, whining, having fun, kind of summery, barbecue, cookout type of vibe. That's kind of what I was going for with that.
100%, man. 100%. So, just before we jump into this one, what are the best social media tags for people to get hold of you on, just so people can go and find you?
You can find me on all social media platforms. Instagram at Anthony Music, Twitter, Anthony Music, Facebook, Anthony Music. Yeah.
And pretty much everything like that. Fantastic stuff, man. Well, we're going to jump into this one right about now. It's just gone 12 minutes past 9 here on Trickstar Radio. We are live with another international interview here on the Interview Hour. It's Breakfast with KXVU. As always, my friends, make sure you are going and downloading the Trickstar Radio app because you can check every show back if you miss it live. Obviously, if you are listening in live, you're probably listening in via the app, so that's all good. We're going to get into this one right about now. It goes by the name Flossy Wine, coming from J. Anthony and DJ Tunez. Keep it locked, my friends, and don't go anywhere. We're in the building till 10.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you their morning flavours on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.